just a creepy movie. It definitely creeps you out for sure.
Somebody has to be perfect, so it might as well be me.
Talk about deja vu.
You live to tell the tale.
You gotta think like a werewolf.
It's the Slashers and Screamers podcast. All right, we're back on the Slashers and Screamers podcast. I am one of your many co-hosts, Billy Graves. Of course, you know my fellow cohorts in Final Girl, Casey.
Hello, Billy.
Say greetings to you. How are you?
I'm never better.
Sometimes you're better. Today you're insulting.
It's a Sunday night. It's been a good day. We're back. It's been a few weeks.
It has been, but you know what? If you're
Reunited.
Continuing, and it feels so good. And of course, my man, the Memphis Maniac, Rick. Welcome back, Doctor.
What's up? It's good to be back after our little hiatus.
Well, we were hoping you wouldn't come back, Rick, if I'm being honest about it. And, you know, it's an audio podcast, but the visuals are not very pleasant. You got the ugliest hat on I've ever seen. There's a reason that team is no longer in MLB. It's because their uniforms were atrocious. Even people in Montreal couldn't stand them. And here you are just sporting it like it's something to do.
I mean, I gotta let the legend live, so.
Who's the last remaining Montreal Expo in the league?
It was Bartolo Colon.
You rat bastard. And
he's playing in Mexico still.
Is he in Mexico?
Somewhere. I thought he was playing still.
Probably the Dominican.
I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah.
Well, he can't hack the Venezuelan league, I can tell you that. And the Godfather of Droll James. What you doing, James? What are you into? That's the spirit.
Nothing.
Okay, well,
Just
that's all I need to know. Just hanging out. Well, you came over and watched WrestleMania last week, so that was something, right?
Got me some cows.
Hey, before we get our guest in, actually, let me get our guest in. We're going to come back to your cow situation. We got to talk about that. By special demand, someone in this group wanted to talk about your cow situation. So we're going to get to that in a second. But we do have a special guest. Casey, do you want to introduce our, with due reverence also, okay, make sure it's due reverence, our special guest today?
Yeah, we've got another member of the Final Girl family. Let's welcome Final Girl Swords to the chat.
Hey everyone, hate to
Hello, Final Girl
put a
Swords.
cow story on hold, but happy to be here.
No, hey, we're here for you, man. This is it's your show now. Do with it what you will.
That's high honor, high praise.
Listen, look around. It ain't that high.
Billy's giving this podcast away.
Well, signing off. So, Casey, you specifically wanted to talk about James's cow situation when I told you a little tidbit of information.
Yeah, you're out here posting about cow names. First of all, I'd like to see a picture.
Oh, yeah. James, we do need pictures of... Okay, I can't hold back any further. James, you've got this little calf, a little black calf, right? On your farm. What's the name? What is the name you have bestowed upon said calf?
His name is Curtis.
How do you spell
Curtis. Curdis, I think.
So Curtis. It makes me so happy, James. His name's Curtis. Why is nobody else laughing?
It's just such a cute name. I want to see the cow.
That's the best name that's ever been given to a cow because, I have a good friend from Thailand. She asked me, like, what's the significance of this name? I don't get it. And so I had to go through the whole thing. Well, curds are something that you get from dairy, and dairy comes from cow.
Oh my God, is that why his name is Curtis?
Are you from Thailand? Is it you from Thailand?
It's not, but I didn't make that connection. I just thought it was cute that it was spelled with a D.
Oh, man. So, broadcasting from Earth, where Casey is not familiar.
I'm on the moon.
It is. She's on the moon. It is one small step for cattle. Yes, that's the reason. Curtis, not Curtis, but DIS because of curds. Casey!
I just thought it was a cute name.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to my Thai friend. Y'all can just go over this at
Bond.
length. Yeah, just bond over the unknowing. Oh, man. Okay, guys. Welcome. Well, welcome to the Slashers and Screamers podcast. And welcome to James's dog. And
That's not my dog.
was that not your dog? Was that Curtis? Did you teach Curtis to bark?
That wasn't my dog. I heard
Perfectly
it.
named and talented. No, that was one of mine, actually.
Fantastic! Well, we got new members of the family joining in. Not only Final Girl Swords, but Final Girl
Dogs.
Swords. Yeah, Final Dog. What's the name? What's the name of your
Final
dog?
girl
Lilo?
dog.
Final Girl Dog.
Yeah, that was
I'll
Lilo.
go with
That was
that.
a girl dog.
I like it.
Final girl Lilo.
So, guys, make sure that you check us out on all the socials at Slasher Sports on Twitter and at Slasher Sports Media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Got a lot of content going up. It's baseball season, so of course there's just content overload. But make sure you're checking us out on slashersports.com as well. We're giving you the best of sports and entertainment like the show you're listening to right now, Slashers and Screamers. But we've also got Monday mornings, Wake Up with Wowie and the Kid, covering the world of Major League Baseball, the Row Report as well. We got a new guy on the block. His name is Julian Guilarte. He is covering all things New York Yankees in the Out in the Field podcast, and of course, the Hit City podcast, where I got the Milwaukee Brewers and all the farm affiliates. So, again, thank you for joining us today as we review the 2017 horror mystery thriller, The Ritual. And Casey, this was your pick. Why'd you pick this one?
Yes. I like this movie. We've done a lot of, by name, we're the Slashers and Screamers podcast. We've done a lot of slashers, but we haven't done a whole lot of supernatural flicks. So I thought I'd give us something different. This one's pretty cool. It's not your average ghost story. We've got a little bit of am I wrong? I'm thinking Nordic, kind of we've got runes, we've got different symbols, kind of Norse god kind of energy it brings to the table. I wanted
think you
something a
nailed it.
little bit different for us.
Well, you nailed it.
And
It's
it's a cool
definitely
looking
Norse
movie.
mythology. It's a very good looking movie. I did not, admittedly have high expectations for it.
Classic you. Hater of
well,
all
it-
things
it-
supernatural.
Thank you. I wanted to make sure that was out there because I'm not just being a hater for, no reason like you, Casey, Hater Ham Lincoln.
I don't remember why you called me that.
I don't either, but I'm pretty sure the conversation was with Final Girl
Didn't want
Swords.
Billy to grow a mustache.
That's what it was.
Okay, it's
Hater.
not that I didn't. No. I'd like to correct that.
That
So,
one's still fresh.
It's not that I don't want Billy to grow a mustache because, first of all, I'm looking at Billy. He has a mustache.
I do not have a mustache.
You do. I can see it on your face.
I have an upside down mustache, and that's called a beard.
I can see hair on your lip. If I had that, people would say I had a mustache.
Well, James, would you call this a mustache? You're a man of much testosterone,
Stretching it.
Bill,
Doctor.
if you drank a glass of milk, a cat could lick it off.
Is that the line?
I think that means yes, guys.
I ain't no
Does it-
damn mustache.
Whatever.
Calm
Okay,
down.
if I
You ain't
had
got to
that,
get
people
hot
would
about
say I
it.
had a mustache.
Well, I think the standards are a little bit different. It is much lighter than my beard. Okay, so
So is
Like-
Final Girl Swords.
Huh?
Sometimes it just be like that.
He's not
sometimes
wrong.
it bees that way. Well, I think
But-
those are called whiskers or stubble. That's stubble at best.
But what my specification was is
Mhm.
you sent a message to the pod, and I believe you were watching Death on the Nile,
Oh, was.
and you said, "Should I grow out a mustache and curl the ends?"
So that was that part. The no was for that part.
Of course it was for that part, you old-timey looking motherfucker. That would look so strange in the year of our Lord
Damn.
2022.
I
Wow.
have you know that Final Girl Mom would not be happy with your choice of verbiage towards moi. Okay, I've been admonished by Final Girl Mom about
That's
my
true, y'all.
the use of the F word.
That's
and
true. I'm gonna find
So-
that. Okay, yeah, my mom, Final Girl Mom, texted me and asked about Billy's mother, and I advised that she is, as far as I know, alive and well. And she said, "I'm going to tell her how much he cusses, especially fuck," which she censored. She put F hyphen 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 in his podcast so she can take him to the woodshed and straighten him out.
That sounds horrible. That.
So I immediately sent it to Billy. I was like, Billy, I have a message for you.
And what's crazy about this, wasn't your mother in the army?
Yeah.
Where she heard the worst of languages.
One can
Yeah.
only assume. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Her kids
Yeah.
have some mouths on them, though.
I've heard. Can't confirm. Cannot confirm. But guys, what what do we have coming up in the world of horror these days? We got to have something coming out in the next week or so.
I'm sure. I know
That's a
of
good way to
one.
find out.
I know of one starring a horror legend.
Don't just throw that word around.
Robert Englund.
Bob England? Okay, yes, legend.
A legend
Carry
among
on.
us. So this movie, Choose or Die, it's coming out on April 15th, an important day among this pod.
It is.
Why is that? James,
Because-
can you fill us in?
Yeah, do it. Tell them I'm too mad.
Huh?
Would you say that April 15th is an important day among us?
Yes.
Yes.
Now you got to have your taxes done.
I believe this year they've moved it to the 18th.
That's a lie.
I think it is.
Get your taxes on the 15th.
Wow. Better to be safe than sorry, I guess. But from what I understand...
you can be coy all you want, James. You know why she asked you. So stop skirting
Yeah.
around it.
It's my birthday, Bill.
And what number would that be?
40.
The big 40. James,
Big year.
it's a huge year. James is having a big bonfire out on his homestead.
We'll all be
A
there.
bonfire that, I won't be there.
Fine.
James and I, we've done plenty over the last month, enough to make up for the next 10 birthdays. We met a legend of our childhood by accident. Didn't even know he was there. So, of course, we had to get in line and get autographs and such. The one, tell him who it was, James.
Oh, shit. Jeff Jarrett.
God. Yeah.
That was
We went to meet
Bill.
Jeff Jarrett. I know,
Who is
James.
that?
You've slept since. You don't know who Jeff Jarrett is? It's okay if you don't.
Making me feel bad.
Okay, it's okay if you don't. But he's from very close to here. But he was a professional wrestler ever since we were little, and he's a local boy done good, you know. So yeah, he's a legend amongst the hillbillies amongst us.
Sucks you
Not
couldn't meet
included.
Dr. D. Schultz.
Man, Dr. D. David Schultz would slap the shit out of me just for even asking for an autograph.
Dude, and he lives in Tennessee too, which is crazy.
Yeah, but he's like over in like West Tennessee, I think. Like we're all those people. I don't want to alienate anybody on the show though. We welcome you, West Tennessee people, West Tennesseans.
Rick.
That does include Rick, the Memphis Maniac.
But this movie,
Please, yes, continue.
called Choose or Die, it's about a broke student who, in pursuit of an unclaimed $100,000 prize, plays an obscure 1980s survival computer game. After a series of unexpectedly terrifying moments, she soon realizes she's no longer playing for the money, for her own life.
The highest of stakes.
The absolute. It's coming out on Netflix.
And that's April 15th?
15th, I believe, which is Friday. Is that right? I think it's Friday.
On the day that we are recording, it is the 10th. That makes tomorrow the 11th. My Tennessee math says you are correct. It is Friday. Be on the
Congratulations
lookout for
to
that
me.
one.
Yeah.
Good job. Might be the first time. No, never mind. What else we got
Say
coming
it.
up? Math was right.
There's a new Titanic movie, but it's not what you think.
I think it's Leo survived. He found a piece of wood floating around and survived the fall. Am I right?
Wrong.
The fall to the bottom of the ocean.
He didn't fall, he sank.
I was going to say.
I thought I did. Okay, I've never seen Titanic.
Billy, you've never seen Titanic. I was going to say.
Yeah, I've
You and
never
your
seen
shit.
Titanic. I just assumed that like the final scene was him holding on to the rails, and because everything's wet around him and cold, his hand slips and he falls to his death, thus
I
disappearing.
know
into
that
the...
you're not like a romance movie guy, but giving Titanic a watch
imagined it
probably
being
would
like
do you some
cliffhanger,
good
but on a ship.
culturally.
Mm,
It's not.
okay, well, no
What's up
John
with this
Lithgow
Titanic
to-
movie, though?
Yeah, tell us, Rick.
This is called Titanic 666. It's
a double
110 years after the namesake's deadly journey. Titanic 3 is fated to repeat as one of history's greatest disasters. A faithful replica of the original, the Mammoth cruise ship is safeguarded with the most advanced technology to ensure clear passage on its maiden voyage from famous influencers, historical enthusiasts, and excited travelers on board. But a nightmare is about to unfold. An as unbeknownst to all, there's a stowaway amongst them with the vengeful intentions to channel dark forces still at sea. As the ship halts over the surface of the original gravesite, crews and passengers are terrorized by hauntings from the past.
Oof, man, I will skip by that by the speed of light when it comes on TV.
It releases as well on April 15th, which is the 110th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic, and it's on the amazing site Tubi TV.
I knew you would like that one. Rick is a Tubi fiend, first of all, so James makes mention of that every time. So
the dude that directed it did Species: The Awakening, Bermuda Tentacles, and Hercules Reborn. Looks like he's got a great resume.
Oh, you've won me over with Bermuda Tentacle.
And it can't be as bad as Titanic 2. That's on Tubi as well.
Is that
I've always
like
wanted
Teen
to get
Wolf
that one
2?
to watch.
Like Teen
No,
Wolf also?
It's
Titanic also?
I actually do have a horror thing as well I wanted to mention that's this weekend. There's a horror convention if you're anywhere close to Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival. It's April 15th through the 17th. Tickets are $25. Felissa Rose is going to be there from Sleepaway Camp. She played Angela. Joe Bob Briggs from Monster Vision and The Last Drive-In on Shudder is going to be there. Doug Bradley from Hellraiser is going to be there. The dudes, I can never remember the dude's name from Titanic, the movie.
Leo
Casey,
DiCaprio.
help me. He plays the bald-headed guy. He's really mean to Leo.
Billy Zane.
Yes, he's going to be there.
He is not bald in the feature film Titanic. He is bald now.
Well, I mean, in real life, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to it. I've already bought tickets, so yeah.
So if you want to meet Rick,
Yeah, if you want to meet me,
you should have a booth, Rick. You like set up some autographs. I'll let you borrow my Slashers and Screamers baseball tee. Just set up a booth. Start charging money for it. They'll never know.
But it's at the Marriott Hotel close to the airport. So
That
What'd you say,
sounds like
Steven?
a wonderful time.
I say I got a Sharpie Rick could use. Just all pitch in.
for his mustache. He's gonna draw one
Yep.
on.
Rick looks like a young Billy Zane.
I don't think Rick looks like Billy Zane in any moment of his life.
A 3-year-old Billy Zane.
That's our guy, Rick. Well, what else we have coming up this week in horror?
It looks like there's a new zombie movie coming out. Wormwood, WYRM Wood Apocalypse. Looks like it's a sequel to a 2014 movie and potentially a TV show maybe. But it says this sequel picks up the action in a zombie-infested Australian wasteland where soldier Reese has dedicated his life to tracking and capturing survivors for the Surgeon General in hopes of finding a cure. When he learns all is not as it seems, he must team up with Maxie and siblings Brooke and Barry to race against the clock and save the one person who may be the key to ending the apocalypse. So, any zombie lovers out there, it looks like it's set for a video-on-demand release date of April 14th. So,
You know,
something to
everything's
hold you
already
over.
trying to kill you in Australia. Do we really need to add zombies?
spiders the
Yes.
size of a dinner plate.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing worse than that is zombie spiders size of a dinner plate.
Yeah, good point.
That kind of has me ready to see Wormwood Apocalypse. I wonder if you need to see
Doesn't
it
Rick
first.
love The Walking Dead?
No, Rick is
God,
the
here we
opposite of a
go.
guy who loves The Walking Dead.
Rick is an
Well, that can be
ultimate
fucking
hater.
off the air finally after like 20 years. Let's run this out for as long as we can.
So I know he liked it.
James, what else do we have coming up this week in horror?
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah,
No, it's my turn.
Everybody else has went already?
everybody else has gone, sir.
All right, hang on.
I tried to do it organically so that nobody really could tell that we were taking turns, but cat's out of the bag.
So it says a
Is it
comedy
my
of
turn?
horror. The script says it's my turn.
Yes.
A comedy of horrors. Horrors.
Horse.
Imagine, if you will, a kid and a substitute teacher shows up to read your favorite storytime book. Stories about police clowns trying to track down a serial killer, a famous puppeteer haunted by his blood-craving creation, a group of self-absorbed Gen Z bridesmaids who turn on each other to determine who becomes the maid of honor, and finally, the story of a narcissistic movie superhero who fights to save his soul and has his movie franchise from a special effects voodoo master. Definitely not your typical day in elementary school story time. Has never been so age inappropriate.
Oh.
So it sounds like lots of gratuitous nudity.
Our favorite kind.
Well, so there you have it, guys. That's what's coming up this week in horror. So, Rick, please tell me you've got a rundown for The Ritual.
That I do.
Oh, wait a minute. April 12th is the release date. My bad.
Hey, it's all right, James. That's only a couple days away.
1 day, 4 hours, 11 minutes, and 29 seconds left if you want to watch this movie.
Got it down to the seconds, huh?
Where it comes from, I don't know. VOD, what's VOD mean?
Video on
demand.
There we go. It's got old Jimmy Billslinger in it.
Jimmy Buffett.
Stepped on a pop. Blew out my
Rick,
flip-flop.
please give us that rundown.
I should have never said Jimmy Buffett.
No.
So
We
we
did
did the
the
Ritual.
again in Hamburgerville.
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway, we did The Ritual. Came out September 8th of 2017. It's on Netflix. I don't honestly know when it premiered there. It was directed by David Bruckner. He's known for film director of the movie The Signal.
That's Jerry's brother, right?
Bruckheimer?
I think you're
Jerry
Jerry
Bruckheimer.
No, Bruckner.
Oh, I know
Get
a
a
Bill
hearing aid.
Bruckner.
1-800 Miracle Ear, James. You need one.
1-800 Miracle Ear.
We'll get that for his 40th birthday.
I got the Sonic ear, Bill.
Oh.
I can hear that kid from here.
Okay.
At your house.
Anyway.
He said, no, don't touch me there.
No, James. Carry on, Rick.
Hold on a second. Jesus Christ. Oh, shit. Okay.
On a talk. Had to cruise on back home.
All right.
There's no such
Anyway,
thing as dead air, Rick.
this movie
Like Walking Dead.
is 94 minutes long. It was released in the UK. Its budget was 1.3 to 1.6 million. The actors are pretty. I mean, I couldn't really find a lot on them. So
Didn't
I'm
look
just going to
either.
go basically the main four guys, really. Rafe Spall was Luke. Arshur Ali was Phil. He played in plays and various TV roles in the UK. Robert James Collier was Hutch. He was known for Thomas Barrow in Downton Abbey and Liam Connor in Coronation Street. Sam Troughton was Dom. He's made appearances in Robin Hood, Alien vs. Predator, Chernobyl, the series. Paul Reed was
Which
Robert.
Robin Hood?
It just says Robin Hood. Didn't say which one.
Doesn't say the year.
You didn't click it.
Matthew Needham is the junkie. I'm assuming he's the guy. One of the dudes at the beginning.
I'm only going to do the main four guys. Names like H.
Junkie.
This is based on a 2011 novel.
Frightened Inmate number
Some
2.
trivia about it that you should know is Andy Serkis that played Gollum. It's freaking awesome. He actually was one of the producers. And the symbols that you see in the movie are based on Old Norse Viking language, runes.
Nice.
See, Casey?
So
Nailed it.
Really?
no, and it was shot in. It was not shot in the UK. It was shot in the Carpathian Mountains in Romania.
Which are beautiful.
That's where the
Yes.
Book of the Dead was written.
Didn't we watch another movie? We reviewed another movie that was filmed in Romania.
Yeah, wasn't it The Ritual?
This is the
Yeah.
ritual.
It is the ritual.
No, in the museum with the creature.
The Relic.
Oh, the
I don't-
relic.
Cthulhu?
That
It was Cthulhu. No, that
maybe
was
I'm
the
mixing
relic.
something up.
That was the relic with
Yeah,
Cthulhu.
So this opening, guys, this was I'll just go ahead and say it. As soon as I heard the soccer talk, the only thing I could think of was, "Did you catch
I
that
already
ludicrous
know.
display last night?"
Knew it.
Dude, and I told Billy this. I had to put on subtitles because of all the British slang.
Welcome to my life.
Rick, you always talk about just being Mr. International. You and Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide.
I mean, it was
And
hard.
you can't
Some
understand
stuff was hard to
British
understand.
accents.
All the slang terms they used.
You go out of your way
Did the
to butcher
subtitles
every
give you
French name you
footnotes on
see.
Wasn't there a movie about a soccer team that ate their buttocks in an airplane crash?
Yeah, they weren't eating their own buttocks during the crash. It did take them a while to get used to it. They weren't just hacking into dude's thighs when the plane was going down. That movie is alive.
Samuel L. Jackson, hold on to your butts.
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes.
Buttocks on this plane.
That was a different movie, Swords. That was a different movie.
I've seen it.
But
Which one?
Part 7. So I knew I was in the wrong place when they referred to potato chips as crisps. Okay, so British people, why are you the way that you are?
Yeah, Billy immediately, like, upon watching this, messaged the pod and was like, is this the European movie? Like, yeah, you caught that crisp thing, huh? Really went well.
Yeah, the crisps, they got me.
I knew when they said they're
off.
going on holiday, it was British.
The accents didn't clue you guys in immediately?
Mm-mm. I watched it on
slang?
mute. I watched it on
I
mute.
mean, we got movies where they're supposed to be like British people and they're not British accents, so, I mean.
I don't know if we have one of those movies.
Put another shrimp on the bobber.
Exactly the
Definitely
same.
not.
So what are
Wrong
the chances
country.
that we as a group ever go hiking anywhere?
I'm
Brilliant.
not going hiking with any of y'all motherfuckers.
0.1%.
Yeah.
We can't get Billy
Yeah.
out of his house.
No, that's so true. That is so true.
Billy's a brown-eyed recluse.
I don't even know what to say to that, James. Hey, Rick, question. If you and a friend were to go camping and you woke up and there was a condom hanging out of your ear, would you tell anybody? I have a follow-up question to this, too.
Yeah, why would I not tell somebody?
He'd tweet it immediately.
Okay. Well,
Used?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Even if it was used, you would tell people?
I mean, shit, I don't know. What?
Okay, my follow-up question is, you want to go camping?
Hell no, not with you.
Hey, you know how to recycle a used condom?
I don't like where this is going.
How?
You shake the fuck
Why
out
did
of
you
it.
ask that? No.
Sorry, final girl mom. Sorry. I didn't.
Oh.
It slipped out before I even thought what I was saying.
Well, Billy, I laughed. I thought it was funny. Good job.
Thank you.
Don't
You like
encourage
dragons?
him.
Never mind.
No.
So, okay, guys, if you guys ever treated me like the guy treats his friend at the liquor store, like I'm not going hiking anywhere with y'all. First of all,
Dude.
You mean like waiting off to the side while he gets robbed?
and just slain. First of all,
I mean, okay.
To be fair, he didn't go hiking with them either, so you're in company there.
Yeah, that guy didn't go hiking.
yeah, he didn't make it. He didn't quite
make
make it. Like, but
He didn't
this
make it.
opening,
He didn't even
he
get
did
to
not.
make supplies. Weren't they getting
So-
supplies to go hiking at that store?
Well, they're
they got
going to get
probably-
they're going to get drunk.
Yeah. So I mean, like this opening, like it did do a few things though. Like obviously, it shows us how quickly things can go south in this movie, but also it permanently changes the way we look at the surviving friend. I believe his name is Luke.
It is.
Throughout this movie, I always had that in the back of my head when he was on screen. Like
His name was
And,
Luke, or that scene.
Both.
Both.
the fact that he hung his friend out to dry.
False.
That's just a shitty situation in general. Like, I've never
Yeah,
been
I
in it.
mean, what would you do in that situation? I mean, that's
Give him my wedding ring for one.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not going to be in a liquor store.
Who's getting married?
Who's getting married?
I don't think any of us are getting married.
So
I'm not
listen.
on this pod that's married.
Shut
Steven is wed.
Oh, I'm wet.
up.
But I lost
Okay,
my
never
ring
mind.
in a Planet Fitness parking lot, so
Hang on, guys.
Well, I
Time
lost
out.
already
my
done.
first ring in
Things
the
happen
ocean,
in the
police, so.
Planet Fitness parking lot.
what was that?
There's lots of things that happen in a Planet Fitness parking lot.
That is true. I think it fell out of my pocket.
Who's he talking to?
Well, I lost my first wedding ring in the ocean in Belize.
That's dramatic.
Yeah, my wife wasn't very happy, but they didn't find it, but they found our room key in the ocean, so that's good.
Who's they?
The people at the resort.
The people at the resort went digging in the ocean for your room key? Can't they just give you
Yeah,
another
'cause-
room key?
Well, they found it because they're cool like that.
I
It was
guess.
in the ocean, wasn't it? How they find it in the ocean?
They are magical. I don't know.
I think they just gave you a new room key.
They did not.
Know what about his wedding ring?
I
Probably
did get a new
sank.
one when I came back.
I lost
Probably
my
sank.
first wedding ring in a card game in Atlanta.
Is losing a wedding ring like a rite of passage amongst you people?
What do you mean,
I lost
people?
I lost my second wedding ring in a rodeo in Dallas.
You lying bastard. So you said something about a parking lot of Planet Fitness, and like my phone rang like the moment, like just moments before you said that, and it said Planet Fitness, and it turns out it was my son. He works at Planet Fitness now. So
He found a
Planet Fitness. He found a wedding ring that somebody had lost in Dallas. It was turned into the lost and found
at a rodeo.
So
The old Planet Fitness rodeo combo.
they should have a mechanical bull.
That'd be something.
That would be something. But, you know, that would be something that I would never brave. And speaking of things that should not be braved, the hills of Sweden. Are these guys going to Sweden? Where are these guys going hiking to commemorate their fallen friend? It is Sweden.
They're looking for
The
Okay,
Kungsleden is the path trail. They reference it kind of being like the Appalachian Trail.
It references hillbillies.
Wow,
Oh.
it's Appalachia.
There ain't no hillbillies in Sweden.
How do
Well,
you know?
no.
I'll Google that shit.
I know you
Dude,
will.
there are probably hicks everywhere.
There are hicks everywhere.
Are there hillbillies in Sweden?
According to Wikipedia,
Oh my
raggers
god.
are found mostly in Sweden and parts of Norway, and to a lesser extent in Denmark, Germany, and Austria.
I knew the
Ragnar are
Danish were hillbillies.
related subcultures and are known for
What?
their love of hot rod cars in 1950s.
Okay,
So-
we can... So what?
Ragger, Raggar,
All right, Rose
Hey, so-
Island.
is a subculture found mostly in Sweden of American greasers and rockabilly subcultures from the 1950s.
Well, that's where Volbeat came from, probably. The Danish part of it.
Known for the love of hot rod cars and 1950 American pop culture. Man, that
You
bitch crazy.
found your people, James.
I'm going over there.
Not to
fit
go
right
hiking
in.
now.
No, I'm
You know,
going
if-
to hot rod down the damn road.
Well, you know, I can say if I've met my untimely demise, there's zero chance that James is taking my memoriam to any range of any hills on Earth. Like, I'm getting dumped out behind a Hooters. Like, in a Hooters to-go box.
I'll dump you out back behind the griddle. Or maybe behind
the
that
house.
bush. Yeah, behind them bushes over there.
Behind the bushes where you're always sneaking off to pee.
Yeah.
You probably turn those things yellow by now with all the ammonia that's coming out of you. Well, hammering on traditional tropes, Dom, who's one of the friends, like on their little hike, he injures himself like way early in the film. And
Dom's a
there's like
bitch.
Dom is a little bitch, first of all, and I hate him. As soon as Rick said his name in the rundown, I wanted to just say, to hell with Dom. I did not like that
Dom
guy,
sucks.
and he does kind of suck. But you know what? Later on, I kind of do feel for him. But you know, we can get to that later. But if there's anything I've learned, like from professional wrestling, like the early injury is going to come into play later on. Like he's got to sell that injury now for the entirety of the film now, in my mind.
And he does.
Still hate him. Don't feel bad for him.
No, he sucks. And it's like, hiking can be strenuous.
Eh,
You know, who among us can deny that?
not me.
Not you.
So strenuous, I cannot. Oh, we got somebody agreeing with us. But at this point, though, we know like some shenanigans are afoot when the gang sees this dead animal hoisted up in a tree, like freshly bleeding. Like this isn't like a field dressed deer. This isn't a field dressed deer. Like someone or something has done this. And further up the ways, you've got those mysterious markings on a tree. That just further piques my interest. Like my first thought is, a peaceful community, not unlike Robin Hood and his band of merry men. They're living in the woods and everything's cool. What say you about these
Your first
symbols?
thought about seeing someone hung in the tree is Robin Hood?
Oh yeah, well it wasn't someone, it was an animal, it was a deer or something.
I mean, still, so, okay.
Field dress things,
icky.
It's a little bit icky.
I don't think you normally hang stuff in trees like that once you kill it. I'm not a hunter.
Not that high, no.
But do you hang them in trees? For what?
Like the people like maybe out there will do that. They're mostly like, I don't want to say, what do you call people who do that? They're not butchers. They're, well, I guess they could be. But yeah, they got to hang them up and do that. Somebody might, cavemen will do that. So, sure, hang them from a tree.
Well,
and
you got to field dress a deer, but you don't have to hang in a tree.
Is
Yeah, you
field
can
dress
just-
where you get the skin off?
No, field dress is just when you
Gut them.
cut the guts out of them so you can drag them out of the woods easier.
Oh, so they're lighter?
Yeah, because there's way more internals in them.
Sounds icky.
But then when you get home, you can hang them from a tree or any sort of device that you hang them from.
Sad.
And then That's when you start butchering on them.
Butchering on them. James knows a thing or two about butchering things.
Processing.
But,
it's processing, Bill.
Processing. A processor. That's the word I was looking for.
You damn hillbilly.
You're the hillbilly, James. You're the one that knew it. I'm the one that didn't know it. But, once they reach this cabin...
I know all kinds of stuff, Bill.
You do, and none of it useful to me. I love the line from one of the guys once they reach the cabin. It's like, well, this is definitely the house we're being murdered in.
Yeah, it is accurate.
Like, listen, I'm a man, okay? There's no question about that, and it's very clear that I'm of the alpha variety. Okay, I'll eat soup right out of the can. I don't giggle. That's beta activity. But I'll be damned if I'm walking around in that cabin alone.
You giggle, you liar.
Still not walking around that cabin alone. That was scary.
I'm an adult lady, and that shit's scary.
One of those adjectives is right. Lady's not an adjective. Shit. Screwed that up. I'm back on James's level.
But yeah, it's creep vibes for real.
Well, we used to have a few places where we would dare each other to go into these abandoned homes. If we did it at night, we'd have to take a flashlight with us. Go into the house, go upstairs, flash the light out of the window to let everybody know that, hey, I did it. Never did that shit. Never, ever, ever.
Is this like a you and James activity? Who was doing this?
I don't know if James and I did that. I know James, I know a common friend we share was there, and he turned out to be nuts. He'd do anything. We'll call him Crackhead Keith. But Crackhead Keith would do anything just to satisfy a dare. I'm not built like that. I just knew something was going to bite me, so I don't go into abandoned houses. But
I don't go into houses that aren't mine.
There was one time early on when my now wife and I were dating, and me, her sister, one of our coworkers, and her all found this abandoned house that no one had lived there for a while, from what they tell me. And we opened the door, and in front of us are 4 chairs lined up, and it was at that point we left.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna mess around with anything like that. Definitely not sleep in that house. We get
no one lived there to my knowledge. They were in there at that moment.
They were having a nice dinner.
Well, I started to get weirded out, like, once the guys find that, like, I guess this is what, an effigy? At that point, it looked like an effigy of some kind. Like the headless human figure with the antlers for hands, I think it was described.
That shit looks wild.
Very. Yeah. And, like, they're sitting around the campfire, and they're talking about a lot of Norse mythology. So that's kind of setting the tone, and frankly, like, I'm outclassed on this one. I know nothing of Norse mythology. I only know the Nords from Skyrim, and I don't think that's the same at all.
Apparently, per the trivia, the way the monster hangs victims in the cultist village mirror stuff, the way they hang them from the tree, is based on mythology about Odin, who gained wisdom and knowledge of rune magic by hanging himself from the world tree. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it's Yggdrasil by impaling himself on his spear.
Pronounce it.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I get nervous.
Like Yggdrasil?
Look, if that's
Sounds
what
right
you say, then that's what it is.
It's mithril.
I don't think
stuff hung in the trees like that. I mean, it's very eerie. I didn't know much about the field dressing of deer or anything like that, but just seeing stuff hung in the trees like that, like impaled like that, first of all, icky.
Yeah, it's not something you want to mess around with. You just happen upon that in the woods. First of all, the woods are already scary if you're unarmed. Okay, in a foreign country. In a foreign country that you don't know, the area. You don't know if they're bears. You don't know if they're, like, evil dwarves. I don't know what you're going to find in the woods in Sweden, but you're not going to find me there. And, somebody might be able to help me out on this. But the scene where Luke wakes up to see the bright light in the window, they've already made it to the cabin, like, was this the point where things inside the cabin started going sideways? Like, Luke suddenly wakes up in the woods, feels naked. He's kneeling in front of that effigy. I mean, is it even an effigy? I don't know. Dom's stressed out sitting in the corner, and Hutch has pissed himself. But, like, back to my question, what's the significance of that bright light?
I think it was the fluorescent. Like, he's being taken back to the scene at the opening where he's in the liquor store. Like, he keeps going back there mentally. He can't, run away from that.
Ooh. So this is it all catching back up to him.
Yeah, definitely.
I can dig that. I wondered what that was. If it was actually something outside, like a, Close Encounters of the Third Kind of a situation. But no, this is a mental thing that maybe only he's seeing, and once he comes back, everybody is feeling the effects of their own, I guess, their own personal nightmares, maybe looking back.
I mean, when you get all the homies together to go, like, memorialize their dead friend by taking a hike, and everybody wakes up bloody, covered in piss, praying, crying. It's a
No
weird
acid
trip.
involved.
Yeah, no acid involved.
That you knew of.
Sober, BYU sober, from what we understand. Just having a time.
It sounds like a Saturday in Westmoreland, Tennessee, if you ask me.
I don't.
Rick knows. So once Luke breaks off from the group to get, I guess, the lay of the land, he gets an idea. Well, not an idea. He sees something, is out in the woods with them. But, I mean, he quickly forgets, like, everything because Dom wants to rehash that scenario from the opening when they lost their friend. I mean, honestly, who among us would not hold that grudge? James, you better hold that grudge. Putting myself in a situation.
I'm holding grudges, Bill.
I know. Casey, what say you?
Look, I don't know if I could hold a grudge. That's such a complicated situation to be in. I truly can't place myself in it. People freeze. I mean, there's a fight or flight or freeze. Like, there's a whole thing. People get scared. I'd be scared. I don't know. I don't think I could blame him. I mean, of course I'd be upset at the loss of my friend. Of course I would. But I wouldn't take the Dom route and just go calling him a coward and shit.
How long after the friend died is this trip happening?
I think it's like 6 months. So it's still pretty fresh.
Yeah, that's still pretty fresh. So maybe Dom is getting over it, like not really blaming Luke, but once things start getting sideways, he finds Luke to be an easy outlet for his frustration.
Dom's mad because he hurt his knee 30 seconds into this trip.
Good call.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somewhere... Go ahead.
I was going to say,
Swords.
I think Dom wants to say that he would do it differently, almost. You know, like he's trying to say, if I was there, things would have been different. I'm built different. Like, I would have stopped him and saved Rob's life. But I think it's kind of like he hates and is able to express that to Luke.
I mean, had a machete for a liquor store robbery.
Right. And it's like Luke had flight and Rob froze. And, you know, I think Rob knew what was happening. I mean, obviously he knew what was happening, but like he looked back at Luke and, you know, basically gave him the look like you stay hidden at that point.
Is that the look he gave him though?
That's what I thought.
I took the
Hard to
look
tell.
as in like, hey, what are you doing? Like, are you going to sneak around and hit him with that bottle in your hand? Like, hurry up and make a move is what I got from that look. I guess it's all in your interpretation. And it is important to remember that there are, 4 major personality types, right? And where Luke falls might not be the same place where Dom falls. Dom does not strike me as a dominant personality. He strikes me as an asshole who might say he would do something differently, but without being in the situation, has no idea whether he would or not. But I think somewhere in the back of my mind, maybe there's some viewers who haven't completely forgiven Luke either. Like, maybe we don't like Dom that much, but some of us probably think he's not wrong. Fair?
I think it's tough. A lot of gray area in it.
I think there's
Especially
so
if
much
they're
room
not
for
there.
interpretation.
Right.
But I'm not unsympathetic to Luke. I mean, like, this has been eating him alive, ever since it happened at the liquor store. But now, like, even bigger than his regret, like a nearly mentally broken man has to hold it together while his friends are losing it around him. One of which is no longer a friend, so he says. But he can't just turn away from them because that confirms what he may have thought about himself since day one when they lost Rob at the liquor store. Something that Dom already thinks, that he is indeed a coward. Like, this is an impossible struggle. Excuse me, an impossible struggle for Luke.
I definitely think so. Especially with, when he catches up with Hutch and asks Hutch if he feels the same thing. And, Hutch just doesn't really have an answer. Just says, I don't know. It's like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, he's kind of caught in the middle of it. You've got one guy on one extreme, another guy on another extreme, and then Hutch is in the middle. Was it Hutch or was it Phil who was in the middle and said, I don't know?
that was Hutch.
It was Hutch? Okay. Well, up until this point, like, the issues, like, between the group and what they are in the middle of has mainly been mental. Like, of course, being lost is an issue. You're physically lost. But the group is kind of cracking. Again, up to this point. Much like the animal we saw on the way to the cabin, strung up in the tree, we see Hutch elevated above ground, like in the limbs or vines of the trees, dead, and we have no idea what to attribute this to. This was the part of the scene that I would consider maybe not the climax. We're past the turning point, but this is definitely escalating because now we have physical harm done to one of the members of the group.
In a really visually grotesque way. I gasped. The first time I saw this movie, I remember, like, sharp intake of breath.
That
It doesn't help that the
shriek.
music is great. Yes.
Yeah, the music, the shriek, the way that he's having to wake up Phil and Dom and go chasing after it. It's intense. Really gets to you.
If only it was Dom.
If only.
I feel
I'm
like
rooting against Dom from the second he pulls that shit.
I feel like Rick is the Dom of this group today.
Ouch. That was mean.
What say you, Rick?
No.
Well said.
Strong rebuttal.
I'm Hutch. First one dead.
Rick's probably the deer that was in the tree at the beginning. Was it a deer?
I don't think it was a deer.
It was
It probably
something.
wasn't. Yeah,
It was
it
an
bigger
elk.
than a deer. There you go. Elk.
Do you know
Almost
how
said
big a moose is? Have you seen pictures of, like, a moose next to a car?
They're freaking huge.
Yeah.
That shit is alarming. I had no idea. I thought they were, like, horse size or, like, deer size. They are not.
No, they are like natural kaiju is what they are.
For those of you who don't know how big a moose is, Google moose next to car and watch yourself fucking shit a brick.
Japan has Godzilla. Canada has moose.
Basically.
And Utah has buffalo or bison.
Buffalo are also big.
They are. Well, if you're keeping count, we now have Luke, who has his internal struggle of cowardice and regret. Dom, who now hates Luke and has never really forgiven him, apparently. And then there's Phil, who's stuck in the middle.
Poor Phil.
Poor Phil. And just when things are looking up, well, all things considered, we still got a dead friend. Well, two now.
Two dead friends.
Yeah, Luke thinks he's found, the light at the end of the forest. And when he goes back to tell the others, Phil gets snatched up by some woodland creature that we only really get a small glimpse of. But it is a very intense scene. Did anybody do their homework on the lore of the creatures in question?
Yeah, I did before the
Oh,
podcast.
of course you did, you snotty bastard.
So the creature is Norse mythology, but it's set in Sweden, so go figure. Anyway, that's a moot point. It's called Modor. It is the bastard child of the daughter of the Norse trickster god Loki, and it
I
is
know
called
who that is.
a Jotun, which is most commonly known as a species of giant who are marked with having superior strength.
It did seem strong.
It did look strong the way it was manhandling Phil. Well, to me, absconding of the creature was masterfully done. Every glimpse we get, unless you're a lame-o and pause it, you get enough to know it's not human, but little enough that you can't quite place what it is.
It kind of made me think about the creatures in the village.
Ooh.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You do get them like straight up at the beginning. Well, not at the beginning, but when they first raid the village, you get a really good look at them. But you don't really get any explanation as to what they really are. It's something that is foreign to your eyes.
Is what I mean. So, yeah.
Okay, so the close-up, you got a couple of different views. There's the close-up where it does look like a hooded creature of some kind, but zooming away, you're going to get something else a lot later. Something very different a lot later. But it's down to Luke and Dom now that Phil's been thrown off into the abyss. But they're back on a united front for the most part, but they've been captured by people, like regular ass people. Or are they? I don't know. They're speaking another language. They're a little bit squirrely and they're not saying what they want, or at least not communicating it to where we can understand. But at one point they take Dom and out of our sight. It sounds like they're torturing him. We hear him screaming through the walls, and it's really bad. We're then informed that he's being prepared for a sacrifice.
Bummer.
And,
Not really.
Guys, there are very few things that legitimately make me uneasy, okay? We know there's some subject matter that we don't want to touch on this show, and I'll admit that in movies, it doesn't bother me that much. I only don't want, or I guess I only want those who listen to this show to be happy when they do, not to be triggered by traumas. But this exact scenario, captured by people who have no desire to hear your pleas, who from Jump Street just intend to sacrifice you or cannibalize you, and there's nothing you can say or do that's going to change their minds. That is my nightmare. This film woke that up in me. And
Getting
I'm
Hills
thinking
Have Eyes.
like that, and I'm also thinking of films like The Green Inferno,
Oh, God.
Yeah, where are you guys on these types of scenarios in film? Captured by just people who won't listen whatsoever, and impending doom's coming.
Like you're gonna get tortured.
Yeah, and you can't escape because they've got you on lock. They're watching you at every moment. To me, that's the scariest of all situations.
I mean, it kind of gives me some of our home invasion movie vibes, like Funny Games, where these guys break into your house, you can't escape, and they're gonna fuck you up.
All the way. Funny Games is a really good one because they're very much just regular humans, no creatures or anything. But how bad were things? You were in the shit before you even realized something was wrong. They were 5 steps into their plan before you even realized that, hey, these guys have been in my house for a little bit too long now. Your dog's dead, your neighbors are gone.
Your knee hurts.
For some reason, you look like you're dying, even though you've only been hit in the ankle with a golf club.
He was very sweaty.
Yeah, he was sweating like a hound dog.
Dogs don't sweat; they pant. That's the whole thing.
What's Also Afraid?
Oh, I don't know that one.
You know the band Motorhead?
I'm familiar. I don't know them personally.
There's a lyric that says, sweating like a hound dog, white as a sheet, and I don't remember the song. But anyway, the part that we love is the fact that Dom is tied to the stake now.
We do.
I was just praying for somebody to come up and burn him like he's Joan of Arc. But the cult, the cult who's taken him is now on their knees in servitude to the creature from the woods.
And Dom's having visions.
And he's having visions. And who's he seeing?
His wife.
It's called Born to Raise Hell.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was from that song. I thought it was from
Motorhead.
one of the. Yeah. Damn. Why didn't I know that? Anyway, Dom's final vision is one of his wife approaching him, tied to the stake, but we know it's not her. It's the creature, and it's hideous. I see a giant elk-like animal, but it's not really made of like flesh and bone. What is it made of? At first, it looked to me like it was made up of like a tree.
Wicker.
Thank you for that.
That's what it looks like, kind of.
King of the Wicker people. So, like a creature in Norse mythology, which this cult worships. And if I heard correctly, they want Luke to live as they do with them. So that's why they sacrifice Dom, but not him. Did I hear that right? Or did I miss the boat completely? I thought the blonde girl came in and said that to him.
No, I think you're right.
Yep. Okay. Well, Luke's not having it. He gives that old witch a quick Floyd Mayweather jab. I laughed a little too hard at that scene. Then he pops another cult member with that dirty Harold. Actually, I think it was a shotgun. But then he's face to face with, I believe, if my pronunciation is not off, and it probably is, the blonde girl told him Jotun. And we finally get a full-size view of, I think she referred to it as a god.
Yep.
Elk-like, but with what I thought were like human arms, like an elk-like creature with human arms where you might see tusks on a mammoth or elephant. Very intimidating. Judging on appearance alone, how scary is this creature?
Terrifying, especially when you think of how it can haul an elk or 200-pound man into a tree like it's nothing, pin him to the tree.
James, this seems like something. Okay, it's funny you say that because the scene where he pulls Phil away, it looked like it was super fast. Later on, it didn't look so fast, but maybe that was just my mind playing tricks on me. But James, this seems like the revelation of this creature would be right up your alley. Are you digging this or what?
Yeah, it's a weird looking creature, Bill.
I'm kind of surprised that you'd seen this film before, James. This isn't like something that you had to watch in the last week because it was, mentioned on the pod. You'd seen this prior, and I'm surprised that you haven't pulled this one out of your ass for us to watch already. This is completely up your alley.
I watched it, Bill, but I don't know about it.
Okay. So why is this creature not doing any harm to Luke? Like, it basically does what it can to keep him underfoot, but, does no real damage. Like, it just, you lay down, I'm going to go handle Dom over here. And then he tries to get away. No, you lay down, I'm going to go get Dom over here. Why is Luke the one that it just wants to keep there? Did they ever come out with anything that explains that?
I think the creature just wanted Luke to worship it just like all the others that were there. And I think that it, gets those servants, the people that Luke had, and it'll, grant them eternal life or immortality. And in return, it gets sacrifices like this to, like Rick said, maybe gain wisdom or get something out of it.
Well, and it's clear also, I think that, we see it basically like sending Luke hallucinations of the liquor store robbery. It's like it's taking his trauma and using it to manifest weakness within him, to try and overcome him.
That's a very good point. Because it looks like the creature's kind of has been doing that with everybody. Dom's weakness, his wife, Luke's weakness, the situation at the liquor store. I don't know that we got into Hutch or Phil's weaknesses.
Hutch's weakness, trees.
Small
Definitely
bladder.
Trees are a weakness. 16-ounce bottles of water.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke escapes the forest with somewhat of a final face-off with the Jotun, but no fight. Once he escaped the forest, it was over. It's like there was a border that he couldn't cross.
See, that kind of reminded me of The Village, too.
Getting out to the main road kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I see that. It has Village vibes. To me, it's a movie. It's not, it's not quite like The Village, and it's not quite like found footage, but it has like Village / like Blair Witch vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, Casey. Like the symbols in the house and on the trees. I was like, this kind of Blair Witchy, sort of.
Hell yeah. And the like witch woman that we encounter. The one with the, at one point when everybody wakes up and it's a whole situation and Luke's got like the scars on his chest. The witch woman that we run into that has the matching scars. Twinsies.
Witchy woman.
Witchy.
Only they had the...
This is Blair Witch meets Ragnarok.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
It was.
This is probably the Book of Shadows movie that was supposed to be instead of the one that we got.
Dude, Ragnarok's an awesome movie. I have it on DVD.
Of course, you've got it on DVD.
Do you have? Are there movies that exist that you don't have on DVD?
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah,
I think Rick has like this
Special edition, special Rick edition.
Rick's got a mailbox that's constantly full of DVDs.
I think
still on Netflix's DVD mailings.
why Rick hates The Walking Dead so much is because the main character's name is Rick. There can only be one Rick.
and they took him off the show. So
Spoilers.
Now he's gonna start watching it.
he's gonna pick up at season 8 where Rick left. Well, guys, I mean, this is where the movie ends. It's basically just I don't want to say anticlimactic, but it kind of is. Your climax kind of comes with the escape, with the fire, where you see the full size of the giant moose. But I mean, I guess we should get our final thoughts, and we'll start with our special guest, Final Girl Swords. What are your final thoughts on The Ritual?
I love this movie. I think it's really well done. I think it kind of has a man versus wild and man versus self type thing going on, with Luke trying to, A, escape the caribou, and B, overcome his fear of liquor stores. So it's definitely a comfort horror movie to me.
Well, if this man had ever spent a day in Gallatin, his liquor store fear would be cured.
No kidding.
Godfather of Droll, give us your final thoughts on The Ritual.
It's a pretty good movie if you like that kind of stuff.
You could put that on a refrigerator magnet. Memphis Maniac, give it to me.
Going into it, honestly, like you said, I didn't expect much of it at all.
You know,
and yeah, I was really surprised. I thought it was pretty good, actually. So
you
definitely
texted me
there
on
were
the
some
side.
scenes. Definitely there were some scenes where I legitimately jumped.
Oh,
It's got some good scares.
And I texted you and told you that I liked it.
Just for clarification, Rick doesn't often text me to tell me he liked a movie, because he dare not tell me to watch a movie, okay? Because he knows what's going to happen if I do.
You're going
Or if
to
he
throw a
does.
fit.
I will throw a fit.
Y'all,
Final
don't
Girl
be
Casey.
recommending Billy a movie.
No, Rick,
won't
don't
fucking
recommend
watch
Rick a
it.
movie. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I am bad about that. But I don't do it in the way that Rick does it. Rick will cut you if you suggest anything to him. Then he'll never watch it. Then he'll make a tweet about it. Like, I fucking hate when people suggest movies to me. Don't suggest. And then he names like 3 things that I've suggested to him.
This is true. I can confirm.
IT. I don't want to watch IT Crowd. I don't want to watch Dairy Girls.
If you want to go look at my
else.
Twitter, you can.
They're not going to.
Shameless self-promotion.
Rick, how can they find you on Twitter? What is your Twitter handle?
Well, my handle is...
That's how they're going to find you.
Well, it has my last name in it, so I'm just going to tell them my
oh, boy.
My tagline.
It's like pulling a hen's teeth. Just tell them your fucking Twitter handle.
Good Lord. Okay, it's Rick Sims 87.
How many M's is in Sims?
Rick Sims
like
187.
the Sims game. Yes, I've played the game. Yes, I've killed the whole family in the house before. They won't ask me that question.
Dark.
You're a fucking lunatic. You know that? Final Girl Casey, how about your final thoughts on the film? And then, if you don't mind, you might have some critic reviews.
I might. I'll do the critic reviews first, actually. Let's hear what they said. So, we've got a good one and a bad one, per usual. The movie as a whole has a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 60% audience score. So, again, we've got some variation. But, 74% is pretty respectable for a horror movie. But we've got a good one and a bad one. Okay. The bad one is the ritual is not nearly as effective when the force stalking them goes from abstract to all too real. I disagree, because I thought the visual that we got of the thing, the creature, spooky as shit.
With the backdrop, absolutely.
Yeah, and the good one is efficient and highly effective in its style, relying on sound, creepy production design, and the men's own fear and misjudgment to create the sense of pervasive doom. I like that one. My thoughts, though. Obviously, I picked this movie. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not going to pick a bad movie for you guys to watch, unless it's an enjoyable bad movie. But I thought this was a good movie. Like I said early on, it's very cool to look at. Very visually appealing, something a little different, out of scope for us. But I love the idea of like a mental battle. So, we see some of that stuff with like It Follows. We see some of that stuff with the home invasion stuff and coming to terms with your own mortality. And I like something where you have to think about the fact that you might die. I love a slasher, where you don't really see it coming. Love that stuff. But I also love, a battle amongst oneself. And I think we see with some of the trauma that these men encounter and some of the visions that they're seeing in their death, a very real battle within one's own mind. I like that kind of thing.
And if you like it, I absolutely love it.
That's not true.
Well,
That's not true at all.
Let's shift our focus to our beloved guest, Final Girl Swords. My guy, I know you through Casey, but we've also kind of had some good interactions on your Twitch channel. Would you like to throw out some information so our listeners might be able to pull up your work?
Sure. Shameless self-plug. Swords. It's SWOARDZ. And I usually stream Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, Central Standard Time.
Just foregoing church altogether. I
know, right in the Bible Belt, but this is the real place to be, so...
That's also where we can find you on Twitter, is that right?
That is also correct, yep. The handle is Swords, spelled the same.
We are going to link your Twitch channel and your Twitter in the episode bio for this episode. So make sure you're keeping an eye out during the week on our Twitter account for the next film that we're going to be reviewing. I already know what it is, but check out the Twitter handle, or the Twitter account. And guys, that's going to do it for another episode of Slashers and Screamers. So for our special guest, Final Girl Swords, for Final Girl Casey, for the Memphis Maniac Rick, and for the Godfather of Droll James, I am Billy Graves. This was Slashers and Screamers Podcast, and we will catch you again.